Hey, it's Joe from VCam TV Studios, and I love Christmas. You know what I love more than Christmas? Decorating for Christmas. As you can see behind me, I have all this pop culture swag related to Christmas. But I don't think even this is enough. So I'm gonna make my own. Today we're gonna do a bunch of Christmas pop culture inspired arts and crafts. Obviously nobody's made these decorations, so I have to get real DIY with it. And when I say DIY, I don't mean Tommaso and Ciampa. Our first experiment is to see how we can make our own Santa with muscles Hulk Hogan. Yes, those LJNs that you often find scuffed and beat up. I'm gonna give it a second life, sort of like the Island of Misfit Toys. And if you've ever owned an LJN figure, you know how easily they were to scuff. Sometimes I wish I was one of those kids who never played with my action figures. Actually, no, I've never wished that. Those kids are weird. You know what? If your Roddy Piper doesn't have a bald spot in the front and in the back, and your Macho Man has both of his hands and doesn't have this crazy sunburn going on, then you didn't really have a childhood, okay? Like, really, look at that. Look at that. How bad was he burned out in the sun? And he doesn't have a hand. Ooh, yeah. We got funky like a monkey, and then, at some point, my damn hand fell off, Elizabeth. Look at this poor fellow. He's got a hole in his shirt, a massive bald spot in the front, and in the back. Of course these guys need to be repainted. That's just mercy, okay? So why not take an old Hulk Hogan figure and make him into the holiday classic character he portrayed in Santa with Muscles? That's where I ran into the first problem. Since this film has been released with a ton of different covers, which is his actual Santa suit? Is it this one? Or this one? Or this one? Well, I'm gonna go right to the movie, okay? We're not matching the cover, we're matching the movie. And this scene, that's what we're gonna go off.
You. Where did you? But I thought that. You guys okay?
Yeah! Big shout out to Mike Steyer, whose research allowed me to make the perfect Hulk Hogan. And we could give Hulk Hogan his hot dog tan, but I'm gonna stick to the actual flesh tone that his LJN figure had.
Ho, ho, ho.
And thankfully, there's channels on YouTube where they teach you how to repaint your LJN figures. They've done the hard work of figuring out the best type of paint to use and how to make the flesh tone.
Is a sun-kissed peach, a few drops of flag red, some yellow, a little bit of brown depending on how dark you need it to be, and jack-o'-lantern orange.
To start off, we had to get the figure clean enough to paint. And that's where I became grown man in the bathroom cleaning his toys.
We're the originals in this corner. We don't have to do imitations of the greats. We are the greats.
Get back there! I'm gonna be a special referee and I'll disqualify you. Get back over there. Oh, yeah. Get ready for a challenge, players. You know something? It's intense down here in the hot seat. Brother.
I saw Hogan naked. And Bowser, who is really well. What? I can't say that? Fine. I hate censorship.
And why a Santa with Muscles Hogan? Well, the Hulkster and Christmas go way back. For you, and actually, for me, as it was the very first wrestling figure I ever got, and I got it, yeah, at Christmas, obviously. We could make a whole Santa Wrestling Federation. He was a character in a few wrestling video games. Wrestlers are constantly dressing up as him. That macho from earlier? I could make Christmassy.
I want to say Merry Christmas.
I could make Christmas bushwhackers.
Oh, and you better make sure you eat all your bloody sardines!
Christmas Dusty Rhodes.
So you better watch out. You better not cry. Cause Santa Claus will block you out.
A Christmas Shockmaster.
He had a broad, fat face and a round little belly. It shook, ho ho ho, when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly.
Though I'd have to watch out for him because these gingerbread walls aren't equipped to handle him falling through them. What I'm saying is Santa loves wrestling and he even hangs out at ringside.
Watch this arrival of Santa Claus.
Now that we got the Hulkster all squeaky clean, let's get Bob Ross with it and paint our pythons. Our initial skin color is a little too pale, so let's darken that up. And I know what you're gonna say, these aren't my hands in the video. And that's because I made my mom do unpaid labor. If Santa can make his elves do unpaid labor, I can do the same.
Yo, maniacs, this is Hulk Hogan, the greatest of all time. I'm wishing you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. So what you gonna do when Ho-Ho Hogan runs wild on you? Ho-Ho Hogan is here to spread cheer. Ho-Ho Hogan! Hulk Hogan here, wishing you a Merry Christmas and a Hulkamania New Year. Hulk Hogan here. Ho-Ho Hogan!
We wish you a Merry Six-Pack. We wish you a Merry Six-Pack. We wish you a Merry Six-Pack and a Hollywood New Year.
You better not cry, better not pout, I'm telling you now. Santa Claus is coming to town.
So what you gonna do when Ho-Ho Hogan runs wild on you? Hulk Hogan here. Ho-Ho Hogan!
Now that we got the first part of Hogan done, we're now going to work on the suit and the hat. Now, to get that done and make it look like a real coat and hat, we're going to have to use air dry model clay. We're going to use a little glue to hold the clay in place. Now, as we poke around the clay, it's beginning to look a lot more like cotton.
It's Ho-Ho Hogan!
There you go.
Ho-Ho Hogan!
Oh, now we're playing around a different python, I see.
So what you gonna do when Ho-Ho Hogan runs wild on you? Ho-Ho Hogan! Ho-Ho Hogan!
Bunch of subordinate clauses here.
Ho-Ho-Ho! Ho-Ho Hogan! Ho-Ho Hogan! Ho-Ho Hogan!
And now we begin molding the Santa hat. At first I thought, hey, I could just buy a Santa's hat to put on top of the LJN. But actually using clay and molding a hat worked out a lot better. You didn't have a hat that was a little too big or a little too small.
Ho-Ho Hogan! Ho-Ho Hogan!
And the red is just popping off this figure. It looks pretty damn good.
Ho-Ho Hogan! Ho-Ho Hogan! Ho Ho Hogan runs wild on you.
Snow in Florida, Santa? Wow, this cast is really full of miracles. Go on, Santa. Do your thing, brother.
You know what? Maybe I should offer Mila Kunis one of these Hulk Hogans when we're done. I'm sure she'd like a keepsake from one of her very first movies.
Man, I just totally forgot why I was laughing. Isn't that funny?
Oh god, I hope the LJN community doesn't get mad at me. I didn't ruin the retail value of this figure. I gave it a second life, guys, okay? Oh no, so I upset them too. Alright, I'll rip the band-aid off. Funko collectors! Yes, you guys. Don't get upset, but I always wanted my very own Christmas Tom Servo from Mystery Science Theater. Yes, I wanted to base it on his look when they sang the holiday classic, Let's Have a Patrick Swayze Christmas, from the episode Santa Claus Conquers the Martians.
Oh, let's have a Patrick Swayze Christmas this year.
Or we'll tear your throat out and kick you in the ear.
So one of the things I had to do to be able to open up Tom Servo's head is to get what they call a hot knife, or a soldering iron. Now this came with multiple blades, but I think one of these should be just fine in being able to cut through the top of his head.
Gee, why don't we make it a holiday tradition that just smash my head and give Crow extensive third-degree burns?
Ah, it was not as much of a clean cut as I was hoping for. Wow, cutting into Tom Servo's head was a lot more difficult than I was expecting. You watch all these videos online of people with their soldering iron cutting right through plastic bottles. It leads you to think, well, this shouldn't be too hard, but not so. I'm basically performing brain surgery on Tom Servo. And if this goes well, maybe I cut into TV's Frank next. So we're gonna try our best to smooth out the cut.
No way!
Now I don't know if you're able to see this perfectly, but Tom Servo's head will be able to fit this Santa Claus in his sleigh, as well as two of these small little reindeer. The next thing we're gonna do is open up a bag of this fake snow and put it in Tom Servo's head. Now it's time to add a bit of glue and dump in our fake snow. Now we're gonna put in the reindeer and Santa in his sled.
Jingle bells, Batman smells, Robin laid an egg. Batmobile lost her wheel and the Joker got away.
Seal this bad boy right back up. Last, but certainly not least, Tom Servo needs that scarf. He's got to stay warm when him, Crow, and Joel go out caroling. And I think that's pretty close to what Tom Servo was wearing.
Had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you would even say it glowed. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call.
And painting the sky backdrop on the back of this Funko did a decent job of covering up the rough cut. And you can't sing about having a Patrick Swayze Christmas if you don't have the lyrics in front of you. So I went online, and since Joel Hodgson actually posted the music sheet for this song on his Twitter, I was able to print that out. I didn't know the exact size, so I have a bunch of different copies of this thing, and once it's printed out, I'm going to try to figure out which one actually matches Tom Servo.
That's great. It was lovely. Very nice.
Now, I also was looking to do a few simple Photoshops. It's a useful tool that will allow me to do plenty of arts and crafts. Speaking of tool, the tool man himself must have been a big fan of Photoshop, since in the holiday episodes of Home Improvement, he made Partridge in a Pear Tree.
Partridge in a pear tree.
That's Danny Partridge in a Pear Tree. And the Three Wise Tims.
These are the three wise tool guys. They come from so far, yet seem strangely familiar.
Which is weird, because going into this, I thought that they were the Three Stooges, but really that was just a joke from a previous Christmas episode.
Nativity scenes may include only characters specifically mentioned in the Bible.
Which means no more Three Stooges.
Yes, if you're like me, you grew up with the Home Improvement Christmas specials. Look at that Photoshop job. But I recommend Photoshop because if you suck at drawing, well, you're still getting it done. So the first thing I thought, well, it's the 90s. So Tim had to have been looking for Microsoft clip art. And that's what I'm gonna look for. Well, these ones look pretty good. Now I gotta find some funny Tim Allen faces. In the show, he only uses one face for all three. I'm gonna go a step beyond. This man makes some unique faces. So sticking with just one? Well, we'd be doing ourselves a massive disservice. Now to find a pear tree and stick a partridge in it. Screw it! Let's add their album up there in the tree too. Now a little Photoshop magic is about to occur. Some people would question, why am I doing this? Well, I would ask, why would I not Photoshop a 70s teen idol into some clip art? And my mom said that this guy was a groovy dreamboat. Okay. Didn't need to know that. And I'm gonna use my Photoshop skills not to make money, but to make crude attempts at a bunch of wise tool men.
You know, there's nothing more fun in the world than sitting around a beautifully decorated Christmas tree in your home, grunting your favorite Christmas carol. It brings one to mind. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, 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 oh. Come on now, hit it. Oh, 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 oh. Everybody, come on. Oh, oh, oh. That's the spirit.
And look at these guys. Who wouldn't get festive looking at these wise tool men? Well, except for this Tim. He looks a little unhinged. Now, if you were born probably like 10 to 20 to 30 years past when this show was on, that's David Cassidy. He was a partridge. And the thing in the tree is called a record. Like every kid in my generation, I absolutely love Home Alone. And there's one scene in particular that I wanted to recreate. You know when the burglars come by and they think that there's a party going on at the McAllisters, and Michael Jordan is put on a train going around the window so you see his silhouette? I wanted to create that. But then I realized I do not have hundreds and hundreds of dollars to waste. $400?
Stop it. Get some help.
I don't make enough on YouTube to do that. I'm not Mr. Beast, okay? So if I'm gonna do something stupid, we're gonna have to scale it way down. Also, why is Michael Jordan shilling bowling balls? So I wanted to do a miniature version of that. I'm just gonna Photoshop me a Michael Jordan. Now, in the movie, for some reason, there's no basketball. But it looks kind of weird without it. So I'm gonna leave the basketball in on this standee. Let's just say bootleg train sets online aren't the best way to recreate this scene. It's so bad that when I went back to see if they still sold this, it was completely delisted, and not even AliExpress wants to take credit for how bad this train set worked. I'm still waiting for this thing to be extraordinary, even just once, much less at all times. Well, it's hard to contact a company that doesn't even exist anymore. And the website where this was purchased, they don't even list the item anymore. If you could describe any of this as walking smoothly, then you need to get your eyes checked.
Good joke.
This thing had the nerve to describe itself as realistic. extraordinary, safe, and high quality. A best gift idea. This thing was falling off the tracks before I even attempted to add Michael Jordan to it. I'm just saying, if I had to depend on this train to save me from the wet bandits, yeah, I'd be dead before Act 1. I'd be massacred by Marv and hung by Harry. The demo pics on the website showed this thing in a circle. So you know what? Just to simplify this a little bit to try to get it to work, I'm going to do the same. What about this thing qualifies it as musical? Well, I grossly underestimated how hard it is to assemble train tracks. Or at least, these train tracks. This thing's so brittle, it's about to snap like a Slim Jim. Ooh yeah! And even when I simplified this track to just be a circle, it still couldn't carry Michael Jordan.
It became personal with me.
And Michael Jordan deserves quality teammates. And this train is no Scottie Pippen. Heck, it's not even a Scott Burrell.
Oh no, poor Michael!
I ain't going out like this train is tipsier than Dennis Rodman trying to walk a straight line after a weekend in Vegas.
We're letting them push us around.
The lesson of the story. Don't buy shit off AliExpress. It sucks.
Also, what is this voice coming out of the train? It's kind of unsettling.
What's going on here?
I'm gonna wake up in the middle of the night and I'm gonna hear, Happy New Year! Ho ho ho! Do I want to hear this cover song on loop? I don't think so. It's disturbing. You know, you never like to see Michael Jordan get dragged. But instead of sports writers, it's the crazy train that Ozzy sang about. Hey, Trent, get back here! You can run, you can hide, but you can't... Wait a minute. I was just about to sing some Enrique Iglesias, wasn't I? That's a fine-looking Christmas train. Why doesn't mine run like that? So for my display, you know what? It's just gonna be a still train. It ain't moving. You'll get the idea when you see Michael Jordan on this train, and maybe I put this naked Kevin McAllister I have next to it. Now, not every arts and crafts project went off without a hitch. Okay, so never buy cheap gingerbread house-making kits. It doesn't go well. Or maybe I just really suck at putting these things together. And the first thing that I should have been really skeptical of was that on Amazon, this product had 3 out of 5 stars. Literally anything good is 4.5. We all know this. So 3? Yeah, it's already trouble. It's already trouble because realistic people have already gotten this product and reviewed it poorly. But how could I turn down the chance to bring famous characters of the classic Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer cartoon into my home this Christmas? Did they seriously suggest that I should give this as a white elephant gift? I mean, if I hated the people or wanted to see them suffer, which I did once with a Kevin Federline CD. The gang's all here. We got the Abominable. We got that Taskmaster Santa Claus. We got Rudy. Mrs. Claus. A young Clarice. Sam, the snowman. The homie Yukon Cornelius. Maybe this gingerbread village wasn't meant for me. This is meant for families. And I'm just a man. And I'm not the only one suffering. These poor elves can't even afford a fourth wall. As we turn this around, the amount of direction here is already making me regret coming up with this idea. Food, that's fun.
So that was a lie.
It's art that's edible. Make a sweet surprise this season and create your very own Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer gingerbread workshop. Make up some memories that will last long after the trees are gone. Ooh, so I'll get to create my own memories and eat them. These guys seem to think I'm addicted to social media, that I'm gonna go on their site and show off a gingerbread house. But if all of these come from pre-made kits, won't all the houses look the same? Do you think anyone's really gonna do that? Really? No. I have a hard time believing anyone's logging into this website to post a gingerbread house, especially one as shoddy as this. Not only am I not going to the website, I'm not going to your Facebook, and I'm definitely not going to your Pinterest page. CraftyCookingKits.com. Okay, well, the website still works. This is where you show it off. Our virtual refrigerator is the perfect place to display your creations for kids all around the world to see. I was hoping that this site would accept my picture with my totally sincere, not at all a joke entry. But you know, I feel like the gatekeeping is going to keep me away. And for a site that makes a ton of money off Christmas, why is Christmas not an option? The virtual refrigerator is one of those cool ideas on paper, but good luck trying to get anyone to actually go to the website. Santa's Gingerbread Workshop. For the people who've watched Rudolph and thought, what would it be like if I could eat Hermie's workplace? Well, we have our gingerbread cookie siding, which I either broke or it always comes damaged in delivery. We got cardboard cutouts of windows, doors, and of course the characters. Except for Charlie in the box. Nobody wants a Charlie in the box. So this scene must have taken place after Rudolph returned home, but before they found the island of Misfit Toys a new home. And most people don't know that the Misfit Toys were never actually delivered in the original broadcast release of this special. That scene was added in later. Since the cookies arrived broken, or like Ava Max sang, maybe I was the problem here. Our windows and doors are gonna have to keep the cookies from crumbling. And the icing is gonna fuse it all together. We got this piece of plastic, which is gonna dispense the icing. We got peppermints, gumdrops, and this fruity candy, so it's gonna make the building real colorful, will at the same time remind me of seeing Katy Perry's butt in the music video for California Girls.
I had a dream I could fly my way to heaven. When I awoke, I spit that on a necklace. I told God I'll be back in a second. Man, it's so hard not to act reckless. To whom much is given, much is tested. Get arrested, guess until you get the message. I feel the pressure under more scrutiny. And what I do, act more stupidly. Bought more jewelry, more Louis V. My mama couldn't get through to me. The drama, people suing me. I'm on TV talking like it's just you and me. I'm just saying how I feel, man. I ain't one of the Cosby's, I ain't go to Hill, man. I guess the money should've changed them. I guess I should've forgot where I came from. Tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing. out the suicide doors. This is my life, homie, you decide yours. I know that Jesus died for us, but I couldn't tell you who the side was. So I parallel double park that motherfucker sideways. Old folks talking about back in my day, but homie, this is my day. Class started 2 hours ago. Oh, am I late? No, I already graduated. And you can live through anything if magic made it. They say I talk with so much emphasis. Ooh, they so sensitive. Don't ever fix your lips like collagen to say something where you gon' end up apologizing. Let me know if it's a problem then.
Oh, screw any of those rom-com Christmas movies that make this look easy. At first, I was kind of like this, excited to make my very own gingerbread house. But by the end of it, I looked like this.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tim Taylor, and welcome to the special edition of Tool Time here at our project house. Howdy, Al.
Howdy, Tim.
Al, what are we doing today?
Well, Tim, we'll be expanding the Ingram's living room out here onto the porch.
But first, we get to dismantle the existing porch. You hear that?
I don't think so, Tim.
What the F are you doing?
Oh, no.
I don't think so, Tim. We'll be back live right after these messages.
You can't decorate for Christmas and skip past putting up a nativity scene. And I love when people make a good, chaotic recreation. So we're gonna do one of our own. Now I know it seems a little sacrilegious, but you know what? We're just having fun here, guys. So I wanted to recreate the part in Back to the Future where Marty's driving the DeLorean and crashes right into a barn. Well, this time the barn is the famous manger. Here's the front of the nativity scene. Here's the DeLorean I'm going to use for crashing through. Let's get our measurements. Okay, so almost 3 inches will need to be knocked out. So we're going to make that 3-inch hole in the back of this. And the front of the DeLorean is about 1 inch.
Hammer man!
Okay, now that we have our hole, we gotta stick the DeLorean in and stabilize it. Now, this is a crude attempt, and honestly, this could be done a lot better, but I'm gonna work with what I have here, and that's gonna be keeping this thing up with green painter's tape. Don't worry, the baby Jesus and everybody else, they're safe. I had to be extra careful smashing through the manger, because these boards have the structural integrity of popsicle sticks. And this manger kit came with every main character. Baby Jesus, Mary, the animals, Joseph, the 3 wise men, Kramer,
Smells like bacon.
Bacon Man, Xena Warrior Princess, Alf. Wait a minute. Did Alf bring a cat dinner to the birth of Christ?
In the words of the immortal Saint Frosty the Snowman, God bless us all, everyone.
Yo-yo ma. Hey, yo-yo ma.
Hey, it's me, Venkman. I'm one of the 3 wise men. 4 wise Ghostbusters, bringing you a gift of myrrh. Slimer, be lucky because I could have given you a towel or a VHS.
Doc, are you telling me that we interrupted the birth of Christ? Oh, when we get back to the future, the book's gonna mention the 7 wise men now, aren't they?
Marty, you gotta get a hold of yourself. We didn't run over the baby. We just did a little barn damage. If my calculations are correct, we should be okay.
Hey, buttheads, you 2 almost took out our Lord and Savior. He's just full of that Christmas spirit.
What are you looking at, butthead?
What's that smell?
That's manure. I hate manure.
Now, Biff, you know Marty didn't mean to. And finally, we made our very own Christmas John Cena. Now this one was simple, okay? All we had to do was go on Amazon and find matching clothes and put it on this doll. Okay, so we have this John Cena, and there was an episode of WWE SmackDown or Raw, and he showed up as Santa Claus. And truthfully, I don't need a regular John Cena in my collection, but I do need a Santa Cena. So what we're gonna do is take these clothes that I found on Amazon that fit an 18-inch doll, and we're gonna put them on John Cena. So I'm gonna try with the pants here. Here is hoping. So far the boot is kind of an issue, but it should work. All right, we're getting it up. All right, Cena, get your hands out of your pants, because I bet you'll feel nuts. It even goes right over the jorts. So, like any kid in middle school, you can wear pants over your shorts and always be ready to play basketball. Next. Hopefully his muscles aren't too big and this expands just enough. It should be fine, hopefully. Even if the fist seems to want to give us some trouble. Alright. Got it through one on. I feel like a tailor. And now, we got it through two. Let's just hit the Velcro. Can't be Santa Claus without having a belt. Not a WWE title belt, but it's still a belt. We are going to add a fake beard, which I think is probably the first thing that is probably going to be a little too big. See his head? So I'm going to try to wrap it around his mouth, double up the elastic, and wrap it just a little above the head so that his Santa hat will cover it. And then finally, we add the Santa hat. There we go. We got Christmas John Cena. Hey, Rudolph, you can't see me. You can't see me. Well, the great thing about pop culture decorating is that there's always more that I could add in the future. Take, for example, maybe I want to make a Christmas Mr. T.
Christmas without love, that's bad.
Or anybody else who's donned a Santa costume with an arm candy accessory like Nancy Reagan. It can be done. Or maybe there's a Christmas classic that's gonna come out in the future.
Yes, Virginia, there is a Sandy Claus.
Or I could just find things that I've seen on old sitcoms. You know, like on Major Dad, where they repainted a bunch of old Leatherhead Ninja Turtle toys to put on their tree.
My Echo Geckos! Santa hung them in the tree like ornaments. Look at Mozart.
John, that is really weird.
I could do that. Or I could learn how to cut shrubbery and make my own Godzilla, like they do in Japan. Maybe I buy these Beatles toys and try to recreate this picture. Or this one where they're spilling a bunch of liquor. Or the Christmas Time Is Here record cover. What if I was to make one of the Bad Santa versions of Eminem? Does Eminem have an action figure I could modify? Well, that's a question for part 2. Creativity never stops. And neither does Santa Claus. I think I hear him on my roof. Whoa! Oh my God! Are you a creepy little guy?
Merry Christmas!
You have a kind of perverted look on your face. Oh my God. It's because you see me when I'm sleeping, and you know when I'm awake.
Christmas night is one night you'll never forget in your lifetime.
Okay, well I kicked pervy Santa out of the house. Christmas videos right here. And if you don't like Christmas because you're some sort of Grinch, other content. Like, click, and subscribe, and comment below what your favorite holiday special is, and why Home Alone 3 and anything post Home Alone 2 shouldn't even exist.